Hey buddy, it's Mike here. Today I'm really excited to review Street Fighter 6, one of the first fighting games I'm reviewing on this channel, and it's actually one of the best fighting games in recent times. And that's saying a lot because you have really great games like Mortal Kombat 11. This is like my go-to fighting game, and I would say this game is on par or at least a little bit better than that. This game has really reinvigorated the Street Fighter series, and this brings new breath of life that it's much needed in the series. So in this game you have three major areas you can go to on the main menu. So you have your fighting ground. This houses the game modes such as arcade, so you go through the storylines of the different characters, of course, just like you would with any other fighting game. And then you have a very extensive training mode, and this will help you learn the game not only for the basic fundamentals, it'll help you master those really advanced combos, and it's just a perfect game mode for you newer fighting game players. And lastly, there's Extreme Battles. So Extreme Battles offers special modifiers to each match, such as, for example, you can only deal damage with special moves, or you have to battle with different modifiers like Raging Bulls moving across the screen. So it's got some really interesting options, and it's almost like a party mode for fighting gamer fans. And then another one of my favorite modes that they added and just delivers so much in replay value is the Battle Hub. And you can actually use your avatar from World Tour and all the different skills and items you collected through that single player mode and use them here to battle against other players' avatars. And I really like how the two modes are connected. It really adds a lot to replay value, and it just a really good sense of progression. The Battle Hub also delivers a great treat for all you retro gamers out there. You can actually play the classics like Street Fighter 2, Final Fight, even Mega Man. So you can also spectate matches of other avatars fighting. You can also do ranked matches, casual matches, and participate in tournaments, all within the Battle Hub. The Battle Hub is where you'll probably spend the most time after you beat World Tour mode and after you've collected all the unlockables from arcade mode. So it's not only a great place to play those classics, but it's a great place to connect with other players, spar with them, discuss your different moves, so great place to connect and build that sense of community within Street Fighter 6. And last but not least, you got World Tour. And this is I don't know if you remember Mortal Kombat Deception, but it's like your open world style fighting game mode. So you're put into the world and you get trained by the different fighters in the Street Fighter universe. And each, the different Street Fighter characters will make their cameos. So a lot of fun. If you remember back in the day with the Mortal Kombat Deception Conquest mode, this is literally almost identical to it, where you explore the world, get to know the different characters, gain different movesets. Has the same idea, and then you can use your avatar character from World Tour and use that to fight different characters online. So I think that's really awesome, and it lends to a lot of replay value. World Tour mode throws you in Metro City where you start, and that's where you got different side quests, you got your main storyline quest, and don't get me wrong, I mean, the storyline isn't going to be winning any awards or anything, but it's just really cool to have, they incorporated all the different characters, and they built little mini storylines for each character. So I really enjoyed it, and you're going to get a lot of fun and a lot of replay value out of this game mode. One thing to wrap up about these three game modes is that it just gives you that sense of freedom to play how you want. A great fighting game, in my opinion, gives you different ways to play it, and not just one singular game mode. But for example, in Street Fighter 6, you want to play with your avatar, you want to play like a storyline mode, you'd go in World Tour. If you're looking for just a classic casual online match, you just go to Fighting Grounds and do that, or you can play a ranked match. It just gives you options, and that's what makes it great. Now let's talk about the fighting, the main part of Street Fighter 6, because they definitely expanded in this area, and they added all sorts of features like the drive gauge, where you can use different sorts of moves to just get the upper hand on your opponent, whether through defense and offense. So if I'm going to compare this directly to Mortal Kombat, in my opinion, like, I know Mortal Kombat had those X-ray attacks, and that was kind of their special move. Street Fighter 6 goes in a more advanced approach with this drive gauge. There's a lot more involvement. There's a lot more customization on how you want to plan your attacks, different ways to do your defense, and that's what really makes Street Fighter 6 stand out. It's just the core fighting game mechanics. Street Fighter 6 also gives you great options in terms of defense. Like every other fighting game, you have your normal blocking, but then you have something called the drive parry. And this is something you hit when someone attacks you, and it actually deflects the incoming attack. it does consume a drive gauge. However, if you hit it at the perfect time, you will action a perfect parry, and this will not consume any of your drive gauge, and additionally, it'll allow you to move before your opponent. So I love the options in terms of defense. Street Fighter 6 goes in a more advanced approach with this drive gauge. There's a lot more involvement. There's a lot more customization on how you want to plan your attacks, different ways to do your defense, and that's what really makes Street Fighter 6 stand out, is just the core fighting game mechanics. And for PS5 users, to do a drive parry, you just hit R1 on the controller, and this will put you in the drive parry stance. And then we have something called the drive reversal. So while you're blocking or performing a drive parry, you simply input the direction of your opponent, and then you hit the command for a drive impact, and this will perform a counter attack that pushes your enemy back. And each attack in the drive reversal will take varying amounts of drive gauge to perform, so keep that in mind and use them as needed. And some other uses of your drive gauge include something called an overdrive, and this basically enhances your special moves. So for example, if you want your Ryu Hadouken to hit harder, you do an overdrive attack. And for Ryu's example, if you use overdrive on his Hadouken, it'll actually unleash a stronger Hadouken which hits opponents twice. Another cool thing to note about overdrive is that it reacts differently for each character. For some characters, it'll just increase the damage, or some it'll even change the move completely. And the way to know you're in overdrive is your character will actually glow orange. And then you have something called the drive rush. So you do this by first entering in drive parry, so you hold that button, and then you input the direction of your opponent really quick twice, and then this will actually allow you to perform attacks and combos that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So I love the different options in terms of the different combos you can do, and you can really do some devastating combos using drive rush. And another exceptional part of this game is its awesome roster. You got 18 different fighters, 12 returning, and then the 4 new ones. Now each fighter in this game is very different and takes a long time to learn, and they all have their own style and their own advantages. So it's a lot of fun to learn the different characters. Right now I'm just using Ryu, but even just Ryu, he's one of the easier characters to learn, but there's still so much to it. The depth in each character is really impressive, so you're gonna have a lot of fun with that. And you have really good new fighters too, like Manon, and each fighter has their own like custom modifier that makes them special. For example, for Manon's case, she has this medal level buff, so whenever she executes a successful grab, she earns a medal point. And when she earns 5 medal points, this actually increases the damage of her throws. So that's just a small example. Each character has their own quirks, and it takes a while to kind of learn everything. So like I've been playing this quite a bit, but I only know how to really effectively use a handful of characters, maybe like 3 or 4 of them. So I love that depth, and you're really going to have a lot of fun if you like the really deep fighting games. They really get a lot of value in the type of characters they offer. You know, and I'm going to go back and compare it to Mortal Kombat, for example. So in Mortal Kombat, you do have a lot more selection in terms of the different fighters you have. But the level of depth for these 18 characters is really something else. And that really makes this game exceptional as a fighting game. Another great thing that Street Fighter 6 does is it gives you players options. It recognizes that not everyone that plays fighting games is this professional gamer, you know, so it opens to all audiences, and it does that by offering 3 control types: your classic, your modern, and dynamic controls. So I'm going to start off with dynamic. So dynamic is pretty much playing with AI assistance. So it simplifies everything down. It's perfect if you're having some friends over, or family, and people who don't really know how to play fighting games very well. And the game does majority of the heavy lifting for you, so you can enjoy playing without stressing about memorizing all the moves or combos. And then you got something called modern controls, and I'm guessing this might be one of the more popular control types. So modern controls really simplifies things down, not nearly as much as dynamic controls, but it includes a combo assist button, and it gets rid of complex inputs. And you know, instead players will really only have to press a designated special attack button by itself, or with hitting something on the direction pad. There is a little drawback here. So you can't really choose the strength level of the special you're performing, and you only get one version of each special attack, though you can still enhance them with overdrive. Modern controls are aimed at eliminating the barrier to entry in fighting games, so you don't have to worry about those complex inputs like these on the D-pad. You can focus on the battle at hand, and it gives you a stronger sense of understanding of the character abilities and strategies than dynamic controls can. This will allow you to experience, some of those big combos without having to spend hours in training mode. So you might know a thing or two about fighting games if you use modern controls, but you just don't want to spend all that time in training mode, then modern controls are for you. Last but not least, you got classic control mode. So this basically would require the most practice and training to master, but it's also likely going to be necessary for those who want to reach the higher levels of play in this game. Classic controls are for those who are used to playing the traditional Street Fighter and, really break into the competitive scene. That being said, it's going to take a significant time investment to master these classic controls, and you're going to have to master each character slowly, so you have to keep that in mind. However, if you do master the classic controls, you'll definitely have an edge over anyone using modern controls, and you'll have more freedom in how your attacks are played out. Overall, it's awesome to see Street Fighter has come back to form with this game, and this series is just going to be going up and onwards from here. So kudos to Capcom. Ultimately, this is one of the best fighting games I've played in a very long time, and I have a lot of fun with Mortal Kombat 11. I am not bashing that game at all. It's literally, I'd say Mortal Kombat 11 is my second favorite fighting game of all time. However, this game really takes it to the next level, from the awesome different stages, from World Tour mode, the Battle Hub. It's just a great package altogether, and that's why I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. This is a must-buy for fighting game fans, and you're just going to have hours of content and value for your money for this one. Now, I know we have Mortal Kombat 1 coming in September, but unless that absolutely crushes it, this is probably going to be the best fighting game out this year, and probably one of the best fighting games of all time. So definitely check it out. I'm highly recommending this. And yeah, if you like this type of review, please feel free to check out my channel and consider subscribing. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.